Welcome back to Entrepreneur School in the AI era. I am pumped to bring you a fantastic guest today. Nicole Pearl is a journalist and PR coach, and she is one of our founding creators on wAIv who has built out an entire bot squad called the Pearl Pitch Desk. And I'm going to let her talk about it, give you some ideas around ways that this platform has been used, and also just like get into how this is changing the way that you're delivering your services. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I am excited to share the different ways I'm utilizing it for my business, what I've learned. I hope that if you're listening, this inspires you in some way, whether it's for helping the internal side of your business or creating like an outward facing product like I have, which was seeking for years since AI came out, and I couldn't find a platform that would give me what I need. And that's why I was so excited when we connected, because this finally checked the boxes.
Amazing. I think we should start with your AI creator journey because everybody kind of comes in at a different place as far as like, how do you identify as a, tech person, somebody who uses AI? Like, what made you even start down this path?
First off, I am not a tech person. I am a creative. I've been in the media for 25 years, and the idea of like systems in tech actually gives me anxiety. And so it's kind of like, this sounds cliche, but if I can do it, and you're also a great support, and I'm so confident in the product that these bot squads and what they're doing for people, it's really doable. And I dabbled in AI because I do believe, as a solopreneur especially, you want to keep up and you don't want to get left behind. And I initially started by creating my own custom GPT, which is my free AI media matchmaker, which is really about helping people discover the top 5 places that they should be pitching their business. And so it's like I said, a free download. You answer some questions that I put in there, and it will create your kind of 5 outlets to pitch with some personalized advice from me. And the response to that, even to this day, like I still get messages from people that come into my world and they're like, that was really cool. That was really great. And it's a really good initial touch point to get people to see that there's value in what I have to offer. So that was my first step. And I did that in 2025. Then I started thinking, how else could I get AI, build it more into me, because everybody who works with me, it's my brain, right? I'm trading time for money. Like, I am my business. And so how could I create a Nicole-ified PR system in a way that would help people get on podcasts and TV using all of my formulas, take out all of the guesswork, all of the heavy lifting, all the research. And I really wanted to use AI for that. But there's an issue with AI when it comes to journalism and pitching. And I'm the first to tell you, because I take a first approach when I teach, and that is sending any sort of AI generated pitch can easily get you blacklisted. These are conversations I'm having in my own inner circles with other media people. And I get pitched all the time. And even from like major PR agencies, not only from founders. And I can tell in a heartbeat when it was AI generated, the problems that I lose interest, I don't take you as seriously. There's just a lot of there's a mind journey that goes into pitching in terms of like how journalists, producers behave. So anyway, I would never recommend using generic AI to pitch, even when it knows your brand. I've tried it. I've tried the services. They never felt good enough for me as a professional. And so then I was like, well, how do I make this easier for people? And that's where this Pearl Pitch Desk came in, and working with you, because this is a hybrid where it's all of my 25 years with of knowledge, coaching, everything, along with hands-on access to me. And that's the beauty of it, because while there are other resources out there, they don't include the actual insider to guide you. And that's what's going to really make everything work faster, prevent wasted time, like all that stuff.
Yeah, so we've been having a lot of conversations on this podcast, and I really see the opportunity to showcase what expert backed AI actually is. And you just said it right there in the difference between a generic AI produced output and something that is being applied to the expertise that you have trained it on. And so I think that that's like, it's a total opportunity for us to talk about to people, because people might be like, oh, well, I can just use AI to do pitching, which clearly their very expensive PR agencies are doing, which sucks because you're getting those and you're seeing the red flags and you're going, this is not like, I mean, we can have a little sidebar here because I've worked in PR and I have been on the sending side of those pitches before. And there's either the volume game strategy where we think we can get our clients on media because we're going to pitch as many, opportunities as possible. Or there's the relationship building and really targeted focus, like I know this is the right fit for this media outlet kind of pitching, which is what you're helping them to do in the Pearl Pitch Desk with the tools that you built, where it's actually like reviewing their opportunities for media against what their business is all about and where they're at in their business, and then applying your frameworks for how to write a good pitch, which is not just the compilation of every LLM's pattern recognition on what they think good pitching is. It's an actual journalist who receives pitches and says, yeah, this is good or this sucks and here's why. And you know those things and you built that into a tool. And then your clients use that tool and they come to you and they get your eyes on it. And so how is that making a difference in terms of like the conversations you're able to have and the guidance, even just like the difference between a draft before and a draft after, now that the pitch desk exists?
Yeah, I mean, it just takes away so much of the questioning, so much of the mental game. I personally use it. I have focused this Pearl Pitch Desk on specifically TV and podcasts. I personally use it. I just used it to get on a TV show in Los Angeles that I didn't know the contact. I used it, I use it all the time. I actually used it to pitch a TV segment, and the producer, it's a show I'd been on before, but the producer emailed me back and was like, this is the best segment idea ever, and then booked me right away for that show. That is not typical. Like producers might say, okay, yes, let's do it, but like to give you feedback saying, I love that segment idea is not typical, and I've been in the game for many, many years. So I think that when you have the expert guiding you versus trusting what AI is saying, which is based off a lot of hearsay in a way, and some of it is fine, but it's kind of like you're walking in like water without knowing which direction to go in when you're using just the generic. And so this is really giving you a system in your business. That's also the difference. It's like this, which you helped me with the bot squad. And what I love is that it takes you through the journey. And so you can do it from start to finish, or you could come in there and say, I just want to find podcasts that I should be pitching today. What are those? So it gives you the opportunity to start with, should we go through it? Should we like,
Yeah, I was just
what's
gonna like
important part
I
of
was just
it?
gonna say this is actually like a good example of when you have a bot squad, which for the millionth time I shall define is multiple bots that work together and share context. So it's like having everybody in the same boardroom, but everybody's picking up all the notes and everybody knows exactly what their job is, and you don't have to rebrief them, and they know exactly how to do the best version of their job every time. So, more reliable than your actual interns that you might hire. But this is about designing a client experience. So the difference is like, it's different than you. Maybe you should actually start by talking about how you used to do this work without AI before and now how you're blending AI into it, because I think that's like where the online education, online business is going as far as what people are expecting. We expect something that works as well, as fast, as effective as like getting me across the finish line as an AI tool can. But what we are missing as consumers is that we don't necessarily understand the difference between that generic AI and the expert backed AI. And the reason for that is because we don't ourselves have the expertise to validate what has come out of it, but you do. So
Right.
let's talk about like what this used to look like for you and what it looks like now that you have your bot squad.
Right. And I love that they live all in this one platform, because I know that a lot of people have these individual assistants and they might all live in one LLM, but I just love that this is like housed in one place. So it's all neatly organized, wrapped up for a bow with you. So I love that you did that. But basically, this took out a lot of friction, because before, if I would start with somebody, it's the onboarding process. It was originally like filling out a form and then me trying to interpret the way that they were answering the questions. And while that could be great, it takes more time, and it also can create points of disconnection in terms of how I interpret something that they're providing. So this starts with the client intake form with specific questions. It's all, so one of the very first thing you would do with one of the bots or assistants, however you want to call it, it's the client intake form, specific questions I've created, you answer, and then it's going to give you the output to then go to the next bot, which is the media messaging strategist. And what's cool about the client intake form is that it allows this Pearl pitch desk and all these assistants to evolve as your business changes, because you might answer one of my questions with one situation or circumstance or goal that you have right now, but in 6 months, there might be different answers, which is going to influence how you position, pitch, which podcast, which TV shows. So it's really nice that it's not like a one and done, and this will breathe with you. It will grow with you. So then you finish the client intake form, you go to the media messaging strategist, and that is basically taking what you input, using all of my formulas under what is considered newsworthy, all of my media expertise, and it will create your about story using, again, like how I work with a lot of my clients on about stories. That's so clutch. So it does that. And it gives you your media messaging, the newsworthy angles, like basically this whole brief of your foundational elements that are going to help you with having more visibility. So that's the media messaging strategist. That's like a foundational document. This will, you can use this in so many facets of your business. I know that a lot of other people have created, right, those brand documents and everything. This is specifically with the visibility lens. And then
I just want to interrupt
yeah,
you because, first of all, I want to clarify for the listeners that when you say intake form, you don't actually mean a form. You mean an interactive experience that was derived from the form that you used to use. So you used to send your clients a form, they would fill it out, then you would look at that form and review all those things and kind of based on what it said, do your own brain work to create this media messaging document. And now you have a bot do that for you.
yes,
And then don't they come to you at that point and then you
yes,
have a conversation with them so you can still add your layer on top of that because then you're like, oh, you're basically like spot checking the bot instead of
yes, right.
instead of like doing all that heavy lifting. So your involvement is less time but more depth and more nuance, right?
Totally, yes. So we have a one-on-one because I really want to get to know you and your business. And there are things, obviously, with my lived experience that no one can capture. And that's what I also will pour into you that's going to help give you the additional advantage. So, yeah. So then after, and again, this is choose your own adventure. So you get to have the one on one with me when you want, but this is how I recommend it. And then you have the next four bots or assistants to work with. And one is the TV finder, one is the TV pitcher, one's the podcast finder, and one's the podcast pitcher. So this is what's really so cool about your platform is that let's say somebody wants to start with podcasts. Again, it's going to ask you, it's going to use your media messaging, it's going to help identify podcasts within kind of my realm of how I would do it. And it's going to spit out podcasts and then more. And It's so good. I'm just like so excited about it. And then once you have your podcast, you select the one that you want to pitch, and then it's going to say, okay, great. Now I'm going to hand it over to the podcast pitcher. And then it's going to take all that context and draft your podcast pitch. And of course, my coaching is involved. You can work with it and revise it, or you could just take the pitch, come to one of our group calls, and then I will workshop it and give you real-time feedback. These pitch assistants are great at also providing contacts. And if for some reason you don't have the contact, or you within my Pearl Pitch Test Hub, when we meet in person, and there's a lot of bonuses, I even have a training of how to, what I call, sleuth your source or find media contacts, because you don't need an expensive database. You don't need what everyone used to tell you you needed in the past. You just need to know the right way to do it. So
I think that what you're saying here is how, first of all, like this is the hybrid approach to using a bot squad alongside expertise. This is also like your clients can feel confident that the bots are producing something that is of the quality of your standard as an expert, Nicole, which is really powerful to them versus, okay, if their goal is to get media, they have a lot of options for how they can do that. They could hire a really expensive PR firm that's probably using AI to write pitches that are not very good, because I also receive many of those in my inbox too. And they could just try and do it themselves with AI helping them write, but then they're missing out on some of the important angles and nuances and things like that that you have. And then they also get the opportunity to check in with you and have that experience together and your support alongside it. So how does this feel to you as a business owner in terms of when you think about your ability to serve more people and to scale with an offer like this?
I mean, selfishly, this is helping me prevent burnout because it does allow me to help more people. It allows me to make a bigger impact. And it also is, if like you're that founder and you're like, oh, I want to be the founder that's on those TV shows. I want to be the founder. And this is making it so much more accessible and possible because you don't have to feel like you have to hire a booker, outsource to this. And the other thing is that once you do this, like, again, I'm very much about, we were talking about relationship building and owning your relationship. So it's like these drafts are going to save you the time. If you have an assistant, they could work with the Pearl pitch desk and then they could come to the calls. I just think it makes it so much more accessible, lighter, more fun. Like I'm in this season of, I just feel like we work so hard and sometimes people don't want to touch PR because it's like feels heavy and not fun. And so I'm hoping that this is the day that you're like, oh, okay, I always said I want to do it. I talk about it all the time and I don't do it just because it feels like too much. And so now it's like, okay, this could be something that's fun and it doesn't have to be such a heavy lift. And the other thing I'll say, which is once you get the booking, where a lot of these other tools and resources kind of leave you is like, okay, now you've got to show up and figure out how you show up to convert. And that's also where I will come in because as an on-air professional, and that's where like how to show up on a podcast, right? What are your stories? How to show up on TV so you become the guest that everyone falls in love with and people see you and they're like, remember you 6 months later. So that's another component to just like this whole publicity world. So it's like this tool will get you to where you want to be, I think, more easily, faster.
I think you said something so important right there, and this aligns with what we heard Dr. Michelle Mazur say on the show before, where it's like when you're the expert who provides expertise in what is perceived by your clients as hard, something that's heavy lift, and that the real objection from them doing this work is that they just don't feel like they personally have the capacity to do it, is that you're providing something that simplifies it, makes it more accessible, because now they're able to use a bot squad that you built on wAIv to get over those hurdles, to bust through their own objections, really.
It's so true. And also, what's kind of cool about this one in particular is like, you think about a podcast, you don't have to come up with a brand new idea for every single podcast you go on. So, this is going
Mhm.
to really help you figure out what is the messaging, what's the angle. And it's kind of like, once you get that done, then you can just tweak it. The same thing with TV segments. If you're doing regional TV, you can pitch the same segment and tweak it a bit to a bunch of markets. So it's kind of like this is a great way to, you know, kill two birds with one stone or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I want to ask you a little bit, like before you had built this out on wAIv, what did your process look like with your clients before, even when you were using, like you mentioned, custom GPTs?
It was just like slower. It was more brain capacity on my end, even. So I use this for Pearl Pitch Test, right? It's that out face that, but even like with my own self or my one-on-one clients, like I can use it to serve everybody. So it's just like, it's kind of been like my brain partner because it's almost like a mini me. So now it's kind of like there's two of me working together, which is really cool versus all of the responsibility being on me to come up with the ideas or the drafts or
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I even think logistically, you told me before about, um, well, one of the reasons why we created wAIv was because we wanted experts to have a place they could feel confident in embedding their IP,
Yeah,
right? And also like accessibility and being able to use that when you have a custom GPT, you're sharing a link. And I think you were like building individual ones for every single separate client.
oh my gosh. Yeah, like it was so ridiculous. It was so cumbersome. And again, I'm not like a tech person. So in terms of privacy, you want to be able to own your IP, which is so true. And I was kind of like giving out these links and I couldn't really once I gave them, it was kind of hard to monitor and like building each individual GPT and it was just like I don't even know what I was think I guess I was just using what I knew and that's why I was searching for a better solution for a long time. Like I was stuck there because there really weren't solutions. I was really hesitant to after doing that because I know it went from chat and then Claude became the golden child and you know there's going to be something next. And so as somebody that was investing what this all this effort into building a product, an AI product, I still am. Like the idea of going all in on one LLM and putting everything there. My concern is, of course, you can't like live. You got to live for today, but what's going to happen when the next thing comes along? And so suddenly my outputs and stuff are not satisfactory to me or what I'd want my clients to experience. But I feel like stuck because I would have to start all over from scratch, then migrate into whatever's next. And what's so nice here, which gives me kind of peace of mind, is that if something comes out, I have the opportunity. Let's say one of the things is on Claude right now, and there's a better version of a perplexity or a new thing that comes out, I can kind of work on my bot and update it so it's using a different LLM. They don't all have to be on the same LLMs. And so I feel like I'm setting myself up to give my customers the best output they can get and the best user experience based on what's available in the marketplace, not based on what I decided to commit to at the time. So I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
that this will keep me current and I won't like outdate myself in terms of what these bots are capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. And now you have that user agnostic experience as well, where you don't have to build an individual one for every person, but they're doing that intake process that you talked about, creating their customized document that's based on your frameworks. And then that becomes the thing that the job doers, the podcast researcher and the pitch writer and the TV researcher and the TV pitch writer are referencing against, which I think is actually so huge because we just added this component where a user can bring a document and that gets contextualized by the bots. It's like now they know everything about you in one document upload, which is like having your entire chat history brought into a conversation, like whatever is necessary, and you get to control it too. I think like this is a little bit of an adjunct conversation here, but I think, when everybody, but lots of people in our world for sure, were switching from ChatGPT over to Claude, they were like, oh, but my 2 years of history. And it's like, well, did you actually like even look at what that is? Because I know when I looked at mine, the memory in my ChatGPT said it was 32 lines, first of all. Only 32 lines of memory in 2 years of use. And one of those was user does not like pumpkin spice lattes.
Wait,
I was
that's
like, okay.
amazing.
Like
That-
that's what it deemed to be relevant. So we can't fully depend on LLMs to make good choices about what's actually relevant information, and everything is about context. So what you're doing is like refining and being really clear about what that context needs to be that comes into a conversation that your tools access. So we know what our client needs to bring to the conversation, what those bots need to do with that information, and what it comes out the other end is something very specific to the client and not just a generic experience.
that was like core to what I needed was in like that custom experience, because no two pitches, like there's other people like me, and if their pitch sounds like mine, which again generic AI is more likely to produce, that's going to make it way harder for you to land whatever kind of visibility you're trying to look for. So yes.
I just want to ask you as well, like as a PR coach, and somebody who's gone through this journey of deciding to add AI into your programs and such, what do you think the biggest misconception is for other experts, coaches, course creators, consultants, etc., around bringing AI into what they do?
That is an interesting question because I don't see any downside of bringing AI in. The only thing I feel that I'm concerned about is people are going to have like AI fatigue. If suddenly, right, like how I said, my lead magnet has been a huge success, which is the AI media matchmaker. But then suddenly, right, but before that, everybody was downloading PDFs and then people got tired of it. So it's more like, how do you introduce AI, not for the sake of just doing AI, but to up level the experience, the production in a way that's going to be helpful for either you internally and and the customers. So I just think it's like, how do you thoughtfully think about it so you're using AI creatively versus just to use AI.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
such a good point. I really do think it is a conversation about, and the people for sure that we are best fit to support with wAIv are those who want that enhanced client experience. And we're still in the very early ages of AI being part of the world, right? Like it's not old news yet. It's still like, how are we adopting this? What are we going to do? And how does it shifting the market's expectation around the way that things should be accessible? Like for me, I personally wouldn't buy anything that didn't have some AI element to it at this point, or a plugin or a connector, an MCP. Like it's just a no go because I've now like converted my own process so much to be AI supported. I'm
I
not going to
also
say
think
reliable.
Yeah, but I also think there's that perception of, well, if they haven't adopted it yet, does that mean they're in the dark ages? Like, are they up to speed with what's going on? Or if they haven't, then you want to know why, because is there a really good reason why they haven't? So, not to say everyone should be doing it, but I think like you should have a stance or at least some sort of, because I guess if you're going to hire some sort of service provider, and the response is, well, I'm scared of AI, I don't want to touch it, that would like make me lack confidence in that person in terms of the mindset or the expansion of who I'm investing in, maybe.
Mhm.
Or yeah, so but I haven't explored. I mean, I've been so head down with the Pearl pitch desk, but I still I haven't optimized AI in terms of my internal systems to the depths of which I want to. Like there's still so much happening that I haven't explored. And so I always think there is a little bit of that, like you see, it's hard to keep those blinders on. You see people on social and they're like,
Mm.
I just created, right, like a whole new website and wrote 50 newsletters and connected this and that. And it's like all in 20 seconds look at how I connected all these things.
20
And I'm like, oh my
seconds.
gosh, I haven't done that yet, but I also like feel like, well, I need to block out a day to figure that all out. But so admittedly, I haven't like done all that, but I guess
Well, but
I guess,
you found a good use case. You
yeah,
were like, here's the thing I do a lot. How can I make that easier for me, for myself, and for my clients? And I love that your Pearl Pitch Desk is both a tool that you use for yourself and something that you sell to your clients, because that's like such a good example of what someone's first bot squad could be.
yeah,
And honestly, it's like the reason we built wAIv, I was like, I've just been going through all these custom GPTs that I made for my podcast. I made one that will take the transcript and turn it into show notes, and then another one that will make titles, and then another one that will write an email about it, and then a different one that does social media. And then I was like, I'm so annoyed with copy paste, move this over, do this here. And so that's when I was talking to Andrew, who's our my co-founder and the software engineer behind it all. And he's like, well, let's fix that. And then it became a thing for everybody to build their own version of our pod squad on top of. So I love having the different examples and ways people are using it. So thank you for sharing all about the Pearl Pitch Desk, and thank you for being a trusting beta client, one of the first to go through this. I
yeah,
really
I
appreciate
feel like
you
so
trusting
lucky.
us.
Yeah, no, thank you. And for if you're, I think just like how yours organically happened, that's kind of how it happened with me. It wasn't like, what can I set out to do to with AI, but it was hearing from the one-on-one clients being like, I want a Nicole, like when I'm done with you, even though they learned the skills, they wanted to be able to embed like what they like literally said, a Nicole-ified PR system into their business. And that's what got me
Mm.
thinking, well, yeah, who wouldn't? Of course, wouldn't that be so nice? And so that was the kind of initial inspiration of like what could be. And so maybe if you're wondering how could you incorporate your own bot squad or what have you, it's those really easy questions. Like what are you hearing from your existing clients, or where is that initial friction happening that you could start dabbling here? So
Mhm. And so where do you see this going for you next? Do you have other ideas, or how do you see this changing your business? What's next?
ooh, that's a good question. I just launched. So right now I'm really focused on just cultivating these Pearl Pitch Desk people who I can pour into. And right now it's focused on TV and podcasts. I'm very focused on relationship building in terms of strategy for small business founders. So I'm thinking about just ways to continue expanding the like this particular offer so that I could just keep adding more and more and more value and just keep giving you more possibilities. That's kind of where my mind is right now, and staying really focused and going deep with Pearl Pitch Desk in addition to
Yeah,
the one-on-ones. Yeah.
I imagine that when your clients are using it, you're going to start seeing in those group calls like, well, so now what do I do? Like, how do I actually prep for this this interview that I landed because of the pitch desk and those kinds of things? It's sort of like what the next
Yeah.
phase might look like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. Um, so we shall see.
Amazing. Well, Nicole, tell everyone where to find you and your media matchmaker, and I'll put a link if they want to check out the Pearl Pitch Desk as well.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Nicole Pearl Beauty Girl right now. You caught me in a minute. It was hacked and I just got it back, so I might have a second Instagram that I'm gonna launch. But anyway, Nicole Pearl Beauty Girl, and I do have a close friends list. So if you're into like PR tips and stuff, send me a DM and I'll put you on that list that's just dedicated to sharing PR tips. And go to NicolePearl.com for the Pearl Pitch Desk because it's awesome. and send me any questions. But if you really do want more visibility, this is such a cool way to get access to me, take the workload off, and you know, make it work, make it happen.
I love it so much. I love this use case. Bots that do research for you and then take that and write like the next step. It's like I just go back and think about my time in a PR firm where that was my literal job all day long. And now it can be done so quickly and amazingly with tools like the Pearl Pitch Desk. So thanks for sharing about it, Nicole, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, so stop recording.